Hello, good morning, everyone. Today we are going to address a very crucial topic, and it has become more important in the latest, announcement by WHO on the, that artificial sweeteners can cause, cancer. So, our topic today is artificial sweeteners, specifically aspartame, right? Uh, so we have been using artificial, or what we call as non-nutritive sweeteners, for quite some time, and it's our preferred choice to replace sugar, since it is low in calories, or it doesn't increase our calorie intake, right? And some of the known artificial sweeteners are aspartame, saccharine, cyclamate, which are at least 200 times more sweeter than sugar, but it has no calories, or very less calories. So it is an ideal choice. So a lot of people suffering from metabolic diseases uses consumes artificial sweeteners in place of sugar to meet their cravings, and even do not consume too much of sugar, which we know is bad for our health, right? So, and more so because FMCG industry has been using aspartame in a lot of foods and beverages which they sell on the in the market. So close to 6,000 plus foods and beverages, even some drugs, and even toothpaste, right? Which we do on a daily basis, at least twice a day, right? Has aspartame, right? And that's why knowingly and unknowingly we have been consuming a lot of artificial sweeteners, and there have been a lot of information floating that it is good, it is bad. I've seen a lot of fitness companies saying no, no, it's not bad. Until you are not, there's no calorie in, calorie out. Positive balance, there's no problem. So you keep on consuming artificial sweetener, but there are a lot of researches, and some people believe, some people don't, right? And so I decided to let's dig down deep into what causes, what is the uh, why artificial sweeteners are bad, right? And how it can even lead to issues such as diabetes, cancer, and behavioral issues, right? So always there's a flip side to this story. We all know, our body is controlled by a microbiome, right? We are 99% microbial. A lot of these biological functions have been outsourced to tiny little bugs living on inside our body, mainly gut and in our mouth, right? So artificial sweeteners actually interact negatively with the oral and gut microbiome and trigger a lot of issues. So let us talk about some scientific facts. So these are some of the research papers which mention about the role of aspartame in the growth of certain oral gram-negative bacteria, right? Uh, some of the research tells about the use of the application of artificial sweeteners, or the consumption of artificial sweetener in development of a lot of immune mediated diseases as well, right? Then obviously we talk about cancer, and the latest update, WHO has declared artificial sweetener as an possible carcinogen. So probably it is one of the ingredients which may cause cancer. So I'm saying may, it's not that it will cause or it will not cause, right? So it all will depend upon the interaction of your artificial sweetener with a lot of microbes living in your body, right? So let's deep dive each of these facts, right? So first of all, before replying, so probably please remember that uh, every individual biology is unique, right? So these research papers do mention about the causation and the possible link, right? So one should not assume if they are consuming artificial sweetener, it will not cause cancer or metabolic disease, or it may, or it will cause, right? It will all depend upon unique biology, right? So so we'll be educating today on this so that you take the right decision in terms of whether artificial sweetener is good or bad for you. So again, so first thing is, aspartame insulin resistance connection, right? So I think this have discussed a lot, people who are following my videos and my content, right? So, whenever we consume anything, including artificial sweeteners, right, including aspartame, it first interact with our, microbes living in our mouth, in our saliva, right? And these microbes actually pre-digest artificial sweeteners, and, they send a chemical signal to our gut microbiome that, I have encountered something sweet, please tell pancreas to release insulin, and then, pancreas start releasing insulin. But, uh, these non-nutritive sweeteners does not have any glucose, so there is no glucose to be metabolized. And, every time we consume artificial sweeteners, our pancreas releasing insulin, and, so every time the this insulin is being released in the bloodstream, it leads to, high circulatory level of insulin in the bloodstream, and which increase the risk of artificial intelligence, right? So we, as I mentioned, we may not even know we are consuming aspartame, right? Think toothpaste, right? So toothpaste has aspartame, SLS, saccharides, and a lot of these artificial sweeteners, right? Which give you a foamy and a sweetened taste, right? But these all are harmful for our health, right? So it can trigger type 2 diabetes and obesity, right? Right. So essentially, uh, do look at the labels of the toothpaste which you are consuming. Prefer having toothpaste which are free of saccharides, free of aspartame, free of, SLS, right? So that you can find these toothpaste probably in market, but just be cautious about what kind of toothpaste you are buying, right? Then yeah, this is really important. So research came by Angela Ruskin University, which said that this demonstrated that, these sweeteners such as aspartame can actually make certain commensal bacteria like E. coli and Enterococcus faecalis pathogenic, right? So E. coli, we know, is a commensal. It can give you vitamin B12. It can also trigger a lot of, issues, including type 2 diabetes. But, when we are feeding artificial sweetener, eating artificial sweetener, it is actually feeding these microbes and making these microbes turn pathogenic, right? So this specific bacteria called Enterococcus faecalis actually crosses the gut lining, and enter the bloodstream and start doing inflammation there. And there's a lot of cause of blood poisoning which happens, and it also increases the situation of leaky gut, right? Similarly, these bacteria invade the epithelial cell lines of the intestine, right? So which can trigger inflammation in our gut, and, and that can percolate down to various other body organs, right? And again, if so these bacteria, harmful ones, actually, form biofilms which are resistant to antibiotics, right? And are more prone to, secrete toxins, right? Which is going to trigger inflammation, which is going to develop a lot of lifestyle diseases, right? So again, the interaction between aspartame and your gut microbiome, uh, to sum up, so it actually makes certain microbes living in your gut do wrong things and trigger inflammation, cause leaky gut, cross your gut lining, and, start doing inflammation in the brain, right? So in the blood, sorry, right? So these are few of the harmful activities which artificial sweeteners can trigger. That's why, when please do not fall for any person claiming that, no, it is not going to be bad, or it is just published by the, FMCG companies to protect themselves, to protect their interests. Obviously they would, but you should understand how these molecular ingredients are going to impact your biology, right? So please always question, always, measure science, measure your biology, rather than just, going for any trainer or coach, any fitness company telling you, it doesn't matter, just maintain a calorie in, calorie out. So that's not the way you should look at your health and look at your nutrition choices, right? So again, this is the important thing, right? So aspartame loves cancer. So a lot of people say no, it's all bullshit. It may not cause cancer, right? So again, so there are certain pathogenic bacteria living in the oral and the gut microbiome, like Physiobacterium nucleatum, P. gingivalis, T. denticola, right? So all these so specifically, all these are found in oral, in your mouth, right? Physiobacterium nucleatum is something which is found in your gut. So probably there are research which says that, a lot of these bacteria move from oral to gut, so the saliva, because every day we consume 1 liter of saliva, right? We discussed this during our previous discussion on the oral microbiome, right? So So, all these bacteria feed on filanine, which is again, we know, an amino acid, right? And P. gingivalis, if overgrown, or when it start doing pathogenic activities, or their genes expression changes, right? It leads to a lot of gum disease like gingivitis and periodontal disease, right? So if you have sore gums, leaky gums, right, tooth decay, if you're going for root canal, so just think this bacteria is doing bad things. So apart from this, streptococcus mutans also does, but that's not a point of discussion right now here, right? Other thing is Physiobacterium nucleatum, again, increased pathogenic activity of this bacteria is associated with oral, head and neck cancer, as well as colon cancer, right? So Physiobacterium, there has been, so I've shared some screenshots of the research. Probably I'll share the link to the research as well when I'll be posting this video, right? Uh, so again, aspartame contains phenylalanine, right? So again, it contains methanol, aspartic acid, and phenylalanine. So again, regular consumption of aspartame, which actually feeds phenylalanine to these microbes and increase the risk of cancer, right? So again, you have to think from that perspective, what molecular ingredients are there in aspartame, and how our microbes are going to interact with these ingredients, and what they are going to convert into, and how these ingredients are going to, fuel the growth of these bad microbes, right? Again, so aspartame's interaction with the gut microbiome. So as I mentioned, aspartame is metabolized by the gut microbiome into methanol, aspartic acid, and phenylalanine, right? So again, methanol is metabolized in the liver when it's released by the gut microbiome, right? Converted into formaldehyde, which is then converted to formic acid, which is said to cause, liver damage and DNA damage, thereby increasing the risk of cancer. Similarly, phenylalanine, as I mentioned, right, it drives the growth of pathogenic bacteria, which can trigger cancer via, leaky gut or chronic inflammation or cellular invasion, right? Similarly, all three of these byproducts can actually, if you are consuming too much of artificial sweeteners, it can actually, being produced, being converted into, methanol, aspartic acid, and phenylalanine, right? It crosses the blood-brain barrier and start doing inflammation in the brain, probably, interfering with the neurotransmitters functioning, and then this causes long-term behavioral issues, right? So just to sum up, artificial sweeteners uh, should be avoided, right? But it should not be assumed that if you can suppose you have taken a dark chocolate which has aspartame, saccharin, or some other, artificial sweetener, probably it will cause you cancer. It doesn't develop in one day. It develops over a period of time. So if you have been constantly consuming, aspartame, knowingly, unknowingly, it is going to, disbalance your biology, is going to trigger inflammation. It is going to release a lot of these, uh, molecular ingredients, which is going to interact with the oral and gut microbiome, and trigger a lot of health issues, including insulin resistance, including, blood poisoning, leaky gut, immune mediated diseases, even cancer, and behavioral issues, right? So ideally, focus on determining your unique biology, decode the functions of your oral and gut microbiome, determine what food you should be eating right now, what food you should not be, how to suppress pro-inflammatory activities and promote anti-inflammatory activities. That's what we are set out to do, right? So if anyone is facing health issues, whether it's diabetes, obesity, autoimmune issues, depression, anxiety, mental health issues, skin issues, please do reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you all, right? So that's it for today. Just please do not fall for any wrong claims by any fitness companies or coaches or nutritionists. Just learn about the facts. Just always go through the science. Always believe the scientific evidences, rather than just falling for quick fixes, or just falling for these ill-fitted recommendations. All the best. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.